y'all, Wizard101 is about to update a bunch of AOEs. This could actually be pretty massive for a good few spells. Now, it looks like King's Owl's given teasers to various content creators. I may or may not have a teaser of my own. All I'm gonna say is y'all should definitely subscribe, turn on noties. There's gonna be some heat in your noties if you turn on noties. But that's for later this week. Today we're covering what looks to be teasers for what they're gonna be doing to AOEs in the upcoming update. I linked the original video. Please show the original content creator that leaked these some love. But the theme of this, leak, update, teaser, whatever you want to call it, is it looks like they're adding spellman paths to a bunch of lore spells. Lore spells in question: Deer Knight, Reindeer Knight, Ratatata, Ship of Fools, and Winter Moon. Now, starting with Deer Knight, the really big sore thumb with Deer Knight is both the weakness part of it and the overtime part, path of it, in live realm right now, they're both no PvP. Does this affect casual players? Not at all, but if you wanted to use the spell in any sort of PvP setting, or if you wanted to do challenge mode or raids, this spell is basically useless. Now, it looks like they're adding a third path to Deer Knight that can be used in PvP, can be used in raids. And what you'll notice about all of these AOE paths is that they use the new function, which is basically it's like a divide function. Now, the way this little divide mechanic works is you could basically just single target someone and get the full value for the pips that the spell costs, or you could divide the effect amongst 2, 3, or 4 people with a small drop off in damage that starts at 2. Very important thing to keep in mind. This is not like a linear drop off. Just because you attack 2 people with a tier 5 scarecrow does not mean that both of them are going to receive 275 drain damage. It's actually a little bit more than that. That's relevant because it looks like they're putting out 2v2 turnies. We had the first one. It looks like they're fleshing out challenge mode and raid. So the way these spells work is going to be very, very important. It looks like the updated path of Deer Knight that you see on the screen right now, it looks like it's getting a weakness added onto it. Now, what's pretty cool is you could probably use this in 1v1. Is it as good as Headless? Literally no, but it is somewhat comparable, which is really, really dope because I would have even thought Deer Knight was a part of the conversation before. But also, it looks like in 2v2s, if people, tend to do these tourneys more, or in raids and all of that, now Death looks like they'll have a very, very functional hit and weakness that affects up to 4 people. I think that's really good because I feel like Virulent Plague is the only other alternative, and maybe people will still keep just plaguing and they won't use Deer Knight, but Death is also a damage school. So I've always thought it was very, very weird that both parts of Deer Knight have become no PvP for this long. It's gonna be cool to see how people use this in challenge mode, in raids, and 2v2s, all that jazz. The next change, this one, I am not as happy about. Just like Deer Knight, both paths of Reindeer Knight are no PvP. They're adding a third path with this new little divide mechanic. What you see is the third path, and what I think is that they've decided just to give Ice flat damage for some reason. I don't understand why. Now, while 500 flat damage isn't necessarily terrible, that's what it does if you max tier it, and you can hit a single target for 500, you can hit 2 targets for, I want to say, 400. While that is great and all, I just feel like it should have a shield added onto it just like Deer Knight, because that's what Ice is all about. Instead of a 60 shield like the middle path in the teaser, I would have loved to see maybe a slightly smaller shield that could complement Ice's resist tank ability, because without that, I'm not 1,000,000% sure the spell is going to be used in PvP or in raids, because I just don't think Ice is a damage source. So in any sort of team setting, flat damage isn't really a big deal. And there's no utility for you to justify using it in a 1v1 setting as a single target spell. I'm very confused by what they did with this, because it is good that we have a PvP usable version of this, but I feel like Ice could easily get a 30 shield added onto it. I think that would be very good. I think that would not only be pretty damn decent, it would give Ice a reasonable hit and shield that's closer to other schools like Athena, for Myth. Now, Life and Death also have Ship of Fools and Ratatata, and both of them got a new spellman path that just does flat damage. Now, what you see on your screen is the Ratatata spellman paths, and what I actually really like about this is, one, very nice AoE for Life, obviously something you could use in any format, but also it is actually more powerful than Luminous by just a little bit. Now, do I think you should just throw out Luminous and only replace it with Rat Spin as your main hit in 1v1? Probably not, but it does go to show how these spells, they might start opening up certain niche, you know, things that you just wouldn't have had otherwise. I could easily see people packing both Luminous and Rat Spin for just a little extra damage for a finishing shot. And obviously, I think in any sort of team setting like raids or 2v2s and PvP and any of that, I think Life is a super central type of, you know, school. So it's nice that they also have the option of, you know, for cheap AoEing, you know, and also, you know, taking advantage of some of their damage output. Now, the last teaser today low-key has me upset. It's not even an AoE, it's just a change that they've decided to add to Winter Moon. Now, Winter Moon only has a stun path right now, and when stuns got banned in PvP, this basically got banned from every part of the game other than just casual PvE where most people are stun immune anyways. This spell is bad for everybody. I will say this, like, with chest, I don't think this is worth packing whether you do casual PvE, PvP, anything. So we have been, as a community, awaiting what they're going to be doing so that this isn't garbage. And what you see on your screen is a teaser from today, and all they've decided to do is just make it flat damage. Now, 685 damage also for a 6-pip spell that requires an ice pip, it's barely better than a high-end Colossus. So I don't even understand, because of the fact that you would put Colossus in side deck for 1v1 so that you have an ease of pulling them. Unless you can get a max tier Winter Moon TC, I don't even think this is better deck building wise to put in main deck. I don't know if that makes sense, but what I'm trying to say is if you want just a source of flat damage, yeah, you could put Winter Moon in main deck like max tier and get a really high damage source. But the odds of you pulling it are so much lower than a Colossus inside that I would almost just rather put this in side deck and call it a day. This is now, if this goes in a live round, this would be the only other spell that is a lore spell, meaning it uses a school pip for your own school, and it also does only flat damage. It's the only spell that does that other than Ninja Pigs. And here's the thing, Ninja Pigs is amazing specifically for Myth, because it's a school they can hit through debuffs, and they just stack buffs, and if you don't debuff them, Ninja Pigs is great. But for a school like Ice that isn't really, you know, big on damage, I just don't really understand why they're not getting some sort of utility. It seems in the case of both Ranger Knight and Winter Moon, they could have added something shield-based. I would have loved to see like maybe a hidden shield where it's more damage heavy, but you get more shields that are weaker, so you can maybe gambit them or something. I wouldn't have even minded if they took what they did with Ice Elemental and just gave Ice a 6-pip hit and weakness that just did way more, because I think the spell has been amazing for Ice. I think flat damage, I don't really see anybody using this except, you know, I guess you could use it in PvE, which is good. I'm not saying that's bad, but I feel like by the time you get to the point in the game where you're going to be, you know, even able to access Winter Moon, you're probably just going to use other spells for damage that are, you know, just doing more base. It is actually pretty comparable to Top Path King Art, you know, like, and it's one less pip. So this might just be like a really nice PvE spell, a nice, really new, solid single hit for Ice. So maybe this is actually a good thing. I don't know. Maybe I'm way off base. I just think it would have been nice to see it do something, just like most other lore spells, so that Ice could have more variety and utility. That's my honest thoughts on all the spell teasers. The fact that they are finishing their job making the AoEs more usable suggests that they're probably going to be fleshing out challenge mode, raids, multi-person PvP a little bit more. All of that is really, really good news, y'all. If y'all didn't know about this, well, hopefully now you do. Again, please check the original video, show it some love, because this teaser was given to them. I will also have a teaser for y'all. I'm not going to specify when. Turned on noties. Drop a like if you enjoyed. Leave a sub if you're new. And as always, if somebody hasn't told you you're awesome today, they doing something wrong. Stay awesome, y'all. See y'all soon. And yeah.